Okay, I'm going to attempt to do this video and upload it here on YouTube. Going to address some things. If you guys can go to @VertusMedia1776, hit the notification, like, and subscribe on this YouTube. We eventually will be in the studios. We are trying to, before mid-February, get to 50. We're at 30 some, I think, right now on this particular YouTube channel. If we get to 50, we'll go in studio where we'll have TV screen, bells and whistles, all that stuff. And some of the things I'll be talking about here in a minute, we can actually put them up on the screen, let you guys look at them, and actually break down the videos coming out of the State House in Richmond, the YouTube channel. I posted that in our Second Amendment platforms. And if you watch that, you can see the sausage being made. And if you don't know what sausage being made is for you younger people, that's legislation being hashed out and made and processed into law. It's called the sausage being made. I had somebody ask me that earlier. So evidently you guys that are younger, sausage being made means political legislation process, basically. So let's start here. All right, first thing, the breaking news we have is Tim Anderson, the lawyer down in Richmond, gun owner, Second Amendment lawyer, something I think he is too. Gun store owner, whatever. Everybody knows him. He just come out with a video. I shared it in all of our platforms. The gerrymandering attempt by the communist Democrats. This don't even call them Democrats anymore. It's called what they are, the communist revolutionists, just like in Minneapolis. What's happening in Minneapolis, they're trying to bring to Virginia. Keep that in mind while we're talking about this. So, the gerrymandering where they're trying to do 10-1 Democrat to Republican, and if they did do it, the one Republican would probably be somebody that votes with the Democrats, like Creed Deeds, who I want to address here in a minute. Tazewell County, I'm trying to remember the county there a second. A judge in the court down in that county area, county judge, I guess it is, actually passed a ruling that, long story short and encapsulated, the way the communist revolutionists in Richmond went about to do the gerrymandering is illegal, totally illegal. It can be stopped by a court. Well, the guy in Tazewell County, the judge there, did that. Now it has to go through the court system. So the vote that they were going to plan on having on April 21st is niched. It's gone, okay? They just got a big defeat through that judge ruling that the process they did was illegal. So now they cannot, the communist revolutionists that are in Richmond that just took over, cannot do the gerrymandering. Now, I'm not a legal expert, so I don't know if that's for now, why it goes to the court system, and it could take years. As that Anderson said, it's going to go to the Supreme Court. So that's going to take a long while. And the way they did it, they couldn't do it and have it come up and vote on now and then be law July 1st like they're planning on trying to do, or planning to try to do. And yeah, that doesn't work. So that's totally been blocked right now by that judge in Tazewell County. Now, moving on to what I'm hearing from everybody. So I just had a talk with one of our sheriffs here in the Shenandoah Valley, okay, and I would imagine it's probably being heard by several others. Well, he said he's got a few contacts. He asked him, are we still a Second Amendment sanctuary, and some other questions that are pertinent to the times that we are in. So we are currently in Page County, about finished editing our Second Amendment resolution for reaffirmation. It'll be happening here. If you don't know, Scott County already did it. Lynchburg, I've seen somewhere actually either had a Second Amendment resolution drawn up, made, and passed, or they reaffirmed theirs, so it's in effect there. Also, Warren County, they have theirs in effect, has been reaffirmed there. And we're working in every county in the Shenandoah Valley to do so, in several gun groups that we, on the grassroots level, not VCDO and GOA, they're nowhere to be seen in what we're doing. Okay, we're doing our own thing. at our own money, own dime, own time. Okay, gotcha? You got that? Own money, own dime, and our own time. We're not getting paid like VCDL and GOA. It's not our job. We do this because we're patriots fighting for the Second Amendment or liberties in general that are under attack under this communist revolutionist government we have in Richmond. All right, so the resolutions are being reaffirmed. Why is that important? You have to have three things for your resolution to have any teeth. The sheriff, sign it, Commonwealth Attorney. All right, listen real close. And your Board of Supervisors. So if anything happens in your county, if the Commonwealth Attorney does not press charges, the AG cannot do anything about it, or the state. Checkmate. That's why you need your Board of Supervisors also. Give me 1 second. I got somebody at my door. Come on, bud. Our mascot for our Second Amendment group is in here. I'm going to introduce him to everybody, all you guys on YouTube here. This is Tiger, my 2-year-old little tabby. He's my bud, and I call him, every time I'm in here doing a video, he wants to come in here with me, and he's looking at y'all right now. He's like, what is that thing, Daddy? Yep, this is my bud. He sticks by me through thick and thin of all the stress going on in Richmond. This little guy right here keeps me even keeled, him and my wife, of course. So back to the topic at hand, which is talking about the resolutions, which is the first step in what we are going to do here in the Shenandoah Valley is reaffirm the resolutions. We have a team in every county now, except for Augusta and Clark County. We're working on that. And we will meet all the representative leads, and myself will meet in a location and talk about the Second Amendment resolutions and how to go about reaffirming those and what gives them teeth, as I just mentioned. Because your county level, and if you have one, say in Page County, a resolution here, if Culpeper doesn't have one, Shenandoah County doesn't have one, then Warren County does, and then Frederick County doesn't, you're going to be going from county to county, wondering who's actually enforcing these laws. Or if you go to Harrisonburg, which they actually do have one in Rockingham County, it was passed last time. We were working on reaffirming that one also. So I've got a couple comments I want to address too. So we'll pin that Second Amendment resolution stuff. We'll come back with an update later on here with that as we all get those reaffirmed and going. So that's just kind of reaffirming and resetting what we did before. We're looking at what we need to do moving forward. It'll be something else. That's just the first step in the 4-year fight we got coming up. So a couple of the things I've been hearing and talking with the sheriff just now is people are panicking. I mean, we've been like in 2019, 2020, when all this broke loose first time, me and the team have been pounding the rock ever since the mascot's beating on the door. If y'all wonder what that noise is, I'm sorry about that. Well, we've been pounding the rock since then. We didn't stop when it got to be late 2021. We've been still doing stuff on the ground. And here in the last year and a half, we've been preparing. I can get into all that. You can see other videos where I talked about that on here on YouTube. But we have been preparing. And in doing so, I've had now everybody seeing the legislation, which we've seen coming. Okay. And I had somebody ask me today, I seen, was it Take Back Virginia, for instance, is a Facebook group on Facebook. We monitor all platforms for everything. All right. Just to note that. And what you see here, me talking to this YouTube, is a tip of the iceberg of what we're doing and what we are watching, monitoring, etc. So Take Back Virginia, I don't know what group or who's running or whatever it is. I see it on my feed now and then. Was saying we need to start a Second Amendment resolution movement again, and I am here to say that that's already been discussed back in Thanksgiving, around in there, and the reaffirmations are already on their way. Just because some people ain't woke up because they were asleep through the elections, obviously, because we are where we are, and we can't keep hashing that. We need to move forward to face what we are facing now, plan on how we're going to push back and how we're going to address it as things come, and go from there. We can't just keep going, well, 600,000 people, Trump voters, didn't show up to vote. Okay, yeah, we know that. The Republican Party's feckless in Virginia. We know that. What is some of the other stuff I've been hearing? The elections, obviously, if you listen to things going on at higher levels, the elections are rigged with the machines and putting them through the paper ballots through the machines or touch screens. It's just, I could go on a whole hour with that on here on YouTube, but that ain't what we're here for right now. The elections are rigged. So, all right, pin that. Now we're moving on. We see what's in front of us. What's in front of us? SB 749 that everybody's flipping out about. Okay, cool. Originally, Tim Anderson reported that bill was going to have a grandfather clause. Well, they gutted the grandfather clause, and I have more on this in a minute. Who submitted that bill? It's a guy named Saddam, S-L-A-M-I, Salami. I'm going to call him Saddam Salami because I don't like the dude. He's a Muslim. It's all part of, another time in another video, the Muslim Brotherhood's plan to take over America. I am going to touch that some in here. Everything that you see going on, Minneapolis, whatever, is not part in promoting the Second Amendment movement. It's tearing it down, your Second Amendment rights. It has to strip your rights so they can control you. Just put it that way. So Saddam Salami, I'm going to call him, submitted SB 749, the assault weapons ban bill, the magazine ban bill. I posted in all of our platforms and groups that we currently are on the Virginia Senate sausage making, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, where I caught the middle of the end of it, more like closer to the end. And they were discussing detachable magazines. Our own Mark Obenshain was making the point that a magazine that comes with a gun has more than 10 rounds, and this guy heading up, that was I'm not going to say Democrat anymore, I'm going to say communist revolutionist, who was heading up the committee for discussion of this bill and the wording of it and the legality and everything else. Obenshain was making the point that their standard capacity magazines, the guy in charge of the chairman of the committee, said, well, we have been told by said experts that the magazines can be altered to only take 10 rounds. Yeah, if you don't put 10 bullets in it, but okay, so whatever. So that was one argument. Next argument was good old Creed Eads. If you guys are in Creed Eads' district, you need to vote that piece of total garbage out of there. He is a communist revolutionist Democrat in, oh, hold on, bud. I got the mascot up here again. Come on, baby. All right. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's a rhino. He might as well be a Democrat. All right. He's actually meeting with them to strip your Second Amendment rights from you. And I'm going to tell you right now, on a different time, I'll talk about this. There is more Republicans in the state house that will go along with a lot of the Democrat bullcrap that's stripping your Second Amendment rights, as you'll hear here in a minute. All right, if you get us 50 likes on here, like and subscribe, and hit the notifications so you can see the videos and stuff as we post them, we will go in studio and I will make Creed Eads famous, along with anybody else that goes against our Second Amendment, okay, rights. Now, so what Creed Eads was concerned with was a lever action tubular magazine that has more than 10 rounds in it. Like I have a Henry 22 little plinker that has 15 rounds, 16 rounds that'll hold in the tube. So he was addressing that issue. So he addressed it. I'm going to get a drink of something real quick. Now, if you guys know, you know what the blue is. Okay, you can call me a meth head. That's meth. If you don't know, if you know, you know. All right. So, the tubular magazine was his concern of a lever action since it was not actually semi-auto. He has a lever. They went through that discussion, settled that. He wasn't concerned at all about banning commonly used firearms, magazines, or anything else. He just wanted his little lever action. Okay? So then he moved on to, I ain't got the name here. Sorry about that, guys. It was a guy's last name, McDougal. He was pretty good. He hit a lot of good points on the Second Amendment, on different things, whatever. But the guy that stole the time when I was watching was the last Senator Peake. I don't know, P-E-A-K-E. I don't know what district he's from. You guys go to this YouTube channel that you're watching and hit like and subscribe. Get us to 50. We will chop and edit the videos up because it'll open up our tools here on YouTube, and I can show you these guys and make them famous. The ones that are standing up for us and the ones that are trying to strip us of our Second Amendment rights. I'm talking, we know the communist revolutionists are up there in Richmond. It's all the Republicans that we need to watch out for, that are going along with them or wishy-washy, like the story I'm telling here. So what is going to happen is Pete gets up there and he just goes right at him, hits the home run right off the bat, doesn't wait for a slow curveball. He takes the fastball and knocks that thing right out of the park. I'm a baseball guy. You guys that know me why. And yeah, he knocked that thing right out of the park. He sat there in that committee and he said, I'm paraphrasing, don't remember the exact words, so just hold on here. He said something to the effect of, well, everybody owns an AR-15 that you guys call assault weapon, basically is what he said. And that weapon and those like them were intended by the founders for one thing, for when a tyrannical government gets tyrannical, making the implication that they were being tyrannical and those weapons were that, and that's why they were banning them. So he went totally ham on those guys, okay? Then several on the committee started throwing back at him because he was saying what the Second Amendment is for tyrannical government to oppose it or whatever, is the good old Declaration says up here. If you read that, you might find a little something and learn something. So then Creed Deeds pipes up and basically blasting for saying, well, you're saying, Creed Deeds, I don't have the exact words, get me to 50. We'll play the video and show you. Creed Deeds said, well, that's sounding like that man in Minnesota who got himself shot by a federal officer. That sounds, in other words, he was being, all of them were braving him for saying use guns against the government is what he was saying. But he was saying what the founding fathers said. That was Creed Deeds, a freaking Republican. He was just laid into Pink. A fellow Republican, Creed Deeds laid into him. Then a little blonde airhead that probably is dumb as a brick, what she acted like, Russet Perry, I think it was her name. She lights in and talks about Kristi Noem mentioning not bringing a firearm to a protest. Well, for one, the guy that got shot in Minnesota was part of Ice Watch. That is a dedicated organization to obstructing federal officers, which is against U.S. code. Got me? So whether he was there legal with his firearm and he had a Minnesota open and concealed carry permit on him or not, when ICE officers go up to somebody like that who's standing beside somebody else's whistle and blowing a whistle, and that guy, not pretty is what I call him, okay? He was there traffic controlling. All right, what is he traffic controlling for? Is he a law enforcement officer? Is he an ICE agent? Is he undercover ICE? No. He's there for ICE Watch because his buddy's got the road blocked off and he's directing traffic so nobody hits the other obstructors. So he's obstructing federal officers. They go up to him to disarm him, gets into a wrestling match. Okay? Then gets himself shot. Now, I'm not into all the details and all that, whether he had his gun out, whether he didn't, whether the P320 SIG went off like it has the reputation of doing. Federal code says he shouldn't have been doing what he was doing, period. You don't put yourself, a responsible gun owner does not put himself in that situation to begin with to be in that situation and have that happen. Pure stop. So looking at it just from a legal point and an armed and disciplined gun owner, he was totally out of line with what he was doing. He was not there to protest, have a donut and a cup of coffee from the National Guard that Tim Walz sent out there to give everybody coffee and donuts. He was there to obstruct ICE, which is obstructing a federal agent. Now, pin that. I didn't what I wasn't talking about, but I got on that. Next thing I'm moving to, we were talking about SB 749, the assault weapons ban. One of the things that I'm hearing also with the assault weapons ban thing, the Creed Deeds story. Well, my point to that was, to go back to that just a second, I'm sorry I'm jumping around. Creed Deeds and Russet Perry, or one's a Republican, one's a Democrat. And I found out since, and I'm researching old Creed Deeds, I'm going to make him famous, get us to 50 on here. And you guys are going to see all kinds of crap happening in Virginia. We're going to be your independent media in Virginia. We're going to be on the ground when this crap goes down. I don't cuss much, but I'm pissed. When this crap goes down, we have equipment to go satellite. So we have a studio, we can edit everything. And then we also have equipment where we can go on the ground, just like Nick Shirley, just like Nick Sordor, any other YouTuber you want to mention, BG on the scene, all these other guys. Virtus Media Studio will be, if we can get within the Shenandoah Valley, maybe Richmond at times, but definitely here in the Shenandoah Valley, we'll go where we can and film when we can. Meetings, protests, events, whatever. We'll do what we can because we aren't getting paid, and we do have jobs on the sides and everything, so we'll do what we can. So help us out, get us to 50, get us going, and we will do a lot more and be covering everything here in Virginia. So, in other words, your politicians in Richmond, they're there. A lot of your Republicans are rhinos. That's the pin, that one. The next thing I want to discuss, we can get in that more, but I want to keep this video somewhat short. The red flag laws, or no, tax on ammo. Somebody asked me today, what's the tax on ammo, whatever. I've heard 11. That was different, and that's going to go through the sausage maker too. It'll be whatever it's going to be. If you ain't heard, they're putting $500 to $600 on suppressors coming after July 1st. They're going to try to pass that one. After the ATF, NFA suppressor thing got taken out by $200 tax stamp, that happened. Well, now when you when the tax on the ammo goes in, well, it's 11 or 14%. That money is going to the newly created Gun Violence Prevention Research Center, something to that effect. That was in the works. I actually had that on the website. If everybody would have mattered to look at it a year ago, not go, oh my goodness, helter skelter now, look at what's happening. I'm buying stuff, and oh, by the way, one of the things in the SB 749 assault weapons ban, if you are caught with that firearm or 10-round magazine, you get a misdemeanor, you lose your rights to own guns. That's another thing in there. I'm pretty sure that's for word what they did. If you have a misdemeanor from having an illegal magazine, your Second Amendment rights are stripped. Yeah, so that one. But the 11% tax on ammunition here in Virginia, at least 11%, is going to the Gun Violence Prevention Center. So you will actually, and then on firearms too, it's going to be a tax on that. So that will go to funding the Gun Violence Prevention Center, which will do the next thing I'm talking about. One, it'll research firearms things, how to take away your rights, basically, further. And then it'll help. The red flag laws are going to be more enforced here in Virginia. And all these little communist revolutionists that you see in Minneapolis that we do have here in Virginia, also all across Virginia, that tax money, listen up close, is going to train people to report and, report red flag, but how to see what a red flag is. In other words, train them in red flag training to flag you, basically, is what they're going to do. They're going to take all these little leftists that are going around cameras and everything, and you walk out, open carry your gun, they'll red flag you probably for that. Now, on that being said, why are they doing this? That part, I just thought of this. We have a whole Second Amendment community here, and a lot of people who aren't really educated up on the Marxist, communist, revolutionist types. And so the Marxist, communist, revolutionist, they're for the Second Amendment also. You know who the communist, Marxist, revolutionists are? It is BLM 757 and BLM in general who walk around at Lobby Day. A lot of people were, hey, look, they're pro-Second Amendment. All right. The same people that's doing the Gun Violence Prevention Center and is doing the tax on your guns to fund the people calling you out for red flags and calling in red flags on you and training them to do that, how to recognize a red flag, what they consider a red flag. They're part of the Marxist Communist Revolutionist movement. You know what the armed thug part of that is that has like the autonomous zones and chants? BLM, people. Shenandoah Socialists right here in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia, and we got all the other groups marked here. We know who they are. John Brown Gun Club is part of Antifa. They're everywhere, and they're in Virginia. Okay? And they carry guns. They're pro-Second Amendment. But hey, it's a kicker to that. Something you don't understand. They're pro-Second Amendment for themselves. They don't want you armed. That's why all these bills and crap's going on. Everybody in there is communist revolutionists and jihadists who are trying to disarm you for two reasons. They're trying to disarm you, so they're the only ones with guns, and they can use their thug groups like BLM 757 Chandler Socialist John Brown Gun Club to go after you guys and control you once you are stripped of your firearms and your Second Amendment rights, and they come and confiscate them if that's what they go and try to do. So that is the plan, along with something I'm going to get to here at the end in a minute. I'm almost there. Bear with me. So in the taxes, the Gun Violence Prevention Center, the red flag training to recognize red flag, how they define it, with the liberal army of reporters and people who will be reporting back to them, and watchers, red flag watchers, I guess I can call them. I'll come up with a better word later. Right now, that's what we use. When let's say they get all that, they're utopia. They're going to come after our firearms. They're going to come after the magazines. They got the red flag people to spot us, to mark us, and come whatever. All right, why? What is going to happen? Well, I think we all know what's going to happen. I want to say it because YouTube terms and everything. Okay. Well, there is a escalation plan in place that is starting to circulate around, was sent to us, and I'm not going to read word for word what it is, but if you had us our tools here on YouTube, I could put it up on the screen. You guys would have been able to read it plain as day, okay? From the source we got it from, and it's from somebody who's inside, let's say inside Richmond State House. The state capitol, I should say, not state house, but the capitol. All right, so what they're going to do is the guy's named Helmer. He is going to basically bunker in the Queen down there, Queen Spamberger, and he is going to activate Capitol Police, National Guard, and then also I heard SWAT teams and snipers. I think pretty much what we had Lobby Day 2020. Okay, hold on. Again, if you know, you know. All right, so they're going to institute all that, and thank Joe Biden with the fence up, National Guard, and all that crap down in D.C. the whole time he was in, and he had the military fence up, National Guard deployed. They're going to do the same thing in Richmond once they pass this, even if it goes to court and gets shot down, which Harmeet Dillon of DOJ, yes, Harmeet Dillon, who's a sub-AG under Pam Bondi, or Scam Blondie, as we like to call her, because she does absolutely nothing, all right, had sent a shot out over the bow of the Senate in the state of Virginia, and a comment of saying basically this has already been tried in court, and telling them, you do this, the assault weapons ban, it's unconstitutional. Basically, she was saying, we'll step in. I'll believe it when I see it. It's about like Scam Blondie. It's about like Harmeet Dillon said a couple other places they're going to step in. I'm yet to see it. And another thing I like to point out in this Channel Valley 2A group, or Second Amendment group, and Invertus Media here, studio, Republican, Democrat, it don't matter. As you can tell, we're going to call you out. You're going to, as the kids like to say, the new word, I like it, cuck out, like Creed Eads is a cuck. We're going to call you out. We don't care. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I'm a constitutional conservative that follows this guy up here, George Washington, okay? And this thing right there, the Declaration of Independence, and I'm going to have the Constitution up there before long, okay? And when we go to the studio, I'll have both of them hanging up behind me. That gives me the right to get on here. I follow that. Not the Republican Party, not the Democrat Party, not the Libertarian Party, not a party. I'm just an American who follows the guidelines that our founding fathers set us up on, okay? That the communist revolutionists want to tear down capitalism, our whole way of system and government. So that's how we're going to go about this. Now, saying that, when the next comment I'm going to say is going to upset a lot of people, I voted for Trump 3 times. I support Trump. I'm not a Trump Kool-Aid drinker. Get me some Trump. Ah, boy, I got that Trump right here. Just if it was red. They need to make some red of this stuff, too. I got me some of that Trump Kool-Aid. Well, I don't take Trump Kool-Aid, by the way. I support Trump a lot. Like him, voted for him 3 times. A lot better than anybody else we could have voted in there. Okay? Let me be clear. Prove me one thing. Anybody in the Trump administration, and Trump himself, has done for the Second Amendment. First administration, he went along with Red Flag Dan in Texas to ban bump stocks. And right off the top of my head right now, I can't remember the other things. Something else he did. So he did two things last time that restricted the Second Amendment. In the last administration, first time, he listened to some group after a shooting, I think it was in Florida on one of them, and did more restrictions on the Second Amendment. But I don't know of one thing he did for it. Now, he preached reciprocity nationwide first time, and he's preached it this time. You know what? Where's it at? I understand. I know how government works. I'm a historian. I do lectures. I do other stuff outside of this. I'm very knowledgeable. I study our founding fathers, documents, everything. I've got a whole, I'm sitting in my office. This is the library. This is not a studio. This is my office. I got tons of stuff in here. Everybody read the Federalist Papers? That's a fun little read. You might want to read it sometime. Be educated. Nobody likes to read. Like to get on this thing all the time. You can get on a book. Read a book. Books are more informative than your phone. Trump has not done anything for the Second Amendment. Oh my God, I can't believe he said that. I'm leaving this group. I'm not following this YouTube. He's a Trump hater. He likes whatever. He's anti-Semite, whatever. I don't care what you think. Trump has done nothing for the Second Amendment. He promised reciprocity. Congress is holding it up. The, what do you call them? Senate is holding it up. I can name names. Next time, sometime I might go into that and name names. Right now, Trump has done it. So I don't have hope for Harvey Dillon coming into the state of Virginia, taking on the state over the assault weapons ban and magazine thing. If it happens, great. Surprise me. Prove me wrong. That's why I say I like that whole little thing Charlie Kirk and everybody else did. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. I love it. Prove me wrong. I'll be glad to be proved wrong. I'll be ecstatic to be proved wrong. Them coming here and lay the hammer. They ain't laid the hammer down in Minneapolis. I ain't figuring on they're coming in here and laying the hammer down in Virginia. Think about it. Okay? Now to wrap up, how do we fight back against the red flag stuff, for instance? There is a group out there that I have working private security called Attorneys on Retainer. They cover private security, armed private security officers, and also your everyday concealed carry handgun, self-defense with a firearm in everyday life as a civilian. Attorneys on Retainer. I think it's attorneysonretainer.com USA, Attorneys on Retainer USA, Attorneys on Retainer on your favorite search engine. And look them up for about $357 a year. You get full coverage. And one thing they added that other people haven't is red flag coverage. They will cover you in a red flag lawsuit situation. It is not an insurance. It is a team of lawyers that you pay an amount for, and you get. I get no money from them. Hopefully, when we get moving along, we might have them as a sponsor. I'll try to work on that one. I got a few other local sponsors here in the Valley I want to work on, Channel Valley. All right, so look up Attorneys on Retainer to legally have yourself covered. If you go to their YouTube, Attorneys on Retainer on YouTube, they have a video of a USCCA person who, a lot of people, USCCA insurance, woohoo, yay. It's insurance people, it's not a lawyer. When you go get your lawyer and you get in the middle of a court case, this one dude they have on there, I've seen it for myself. It's how as I bought it, I was suspect and said, okay, how's it? I've seen the videos, okay? Guy got left in the middle of a court case by USCCA and dropped. He didn't have his lawyers anymore because USCCA dropped him. Attorneys on Retainer picked him up, long story short, and got him cleared. So that's what happens when you got insurance. Was NRA. I've had CCW Safe, which was a lot better than USCCA. But Attorneys on Retainer is better than that because it's an attorney. It's not insurance. You want to research that for yourself, please do. I highly, highly endorse them. They're out of Phoenix, Arizona. They have lawyers everywhere, and you can research it for yourself. And nothing else to protect you against red flag in Virginia. I done talked to them about that. I told them you're going to probably have some people in Virginia who are going to have to use you for your red flag coverage. I mean, being lead or ad hoc lead of a large Second Amendment organization, grassroots here in Channel Valley, who knows? I might need it. I don't know. I have it. The Attorneys on Retainer. And last thing I'm going to go over is going to be the most interesting thing at the end. You always leave the best for last. All right, here we go, real quick. So I was asked the question today by somebody in our Second Amendment group that messaged me throughout the channel. I know this is thousands and thousands of people. We have approximately 10,000 on platforms right now, but 30 in here. So hopefully we can get more people to like, subscribe, hit that share button, notification. Everything, take that trigger finger, hit the like, hit the subscribe. This one right here or this one over here, whichever one you are, just go boop, boop. It's free, don't cost anything. I'm not here for money. I ain't here to get popular. I ain't here for clicks. I'm here for information and get it out to you guys. And the more you help us and build us out, if you want to drop us a couple bucks, hey, send your money to VCDL and GOA. That's the main people. They're doing the state, they're going to be doing the lawsuits and stuff. You can give us your chump change and help us out. That'd be great. And if you want to learn how to do that, we'll get into it later. We get in the studio. We got an email and stuff we can do there. So I was asked by a member that I believe Abigail Spanberger will be recalled and removed from governor by 2027. All right. If you haven't heard yet, I'm going to break some other news here a little bit. Abigail Spanberger is positioning herself to run as Gavin Newsom's vice president. And in order to do that, she would actually have to get into probably the vice presidential primary for the Democrats in 2028. So there is outside of my other researches I do, the red-green axis, which is the Marxist and jihadists working together. We'll talk about sometime. I have the Muslim Brotherhood's Plan for America somewhere here on my desk. I can't find it at the moment. But those plans are being implemented right here in our state in Virginia. I'm going to drop the bomb right now. I've seen it in many different platforms already, and I've heard it somewhere else. And anyway, when this person asked me this question about Spanberger being recalled or removed or something in 2027, ain't going to happen. The Saddam Salami is trying to take away our firearms. Does anybody know who the lieutenant governor in Virginia is? I'll give you a second to think. Hold on. Let me drink some more of my Trump Kool-Aid. Okay, time's up. It's a Muslim named Hashmi something or another, Hashmi, okay? Okay, in the Muslim Brotherhood's Plan of America, they're doing a thing called silent jihad where they go into your government, as look at Minnesota, prime example. And now we have a lieutenant governor Muslim. We have several state senators and Virginia delegates who are Muslims. They're infiltrating the state of Virginia, if you don't know, at all levels. It ain't just there. It's a local level up to the state level, okay? And so the plan is I'm hearing to calm some of you guys, not calm it, but give you some hope. The Democrats are throwing every gun bill, legislation, everything they can against the wall, like mud or spaghetti, whatever you want to throw, and seeing what'll stick. Okay? What's happening is if you notice Spanberger, or the Queen, or Spam Burgers I call her, the Queen, is ran as a moderate. That's what I think of that. But anyway, she's ran as a moderate. So she can bill herself as that when she tries to run for vice president with Gavin's Newsom out of California. She's trying to out California Newsom is what's going on. But to make herself look a little conservative, like she's a moderate communist revolutionist, I'm not going to say Democrat because they ain't what they are, she is going to veto, I'm hearing, some of this stuff and run. But here's the kicker in the end, and I'll wrap up. The plan is to get Hashmi, the Muslim, in place to run for governor of Virginia and put her in there. And if they rig the election system, have illegals voting, and if the gerrymandering is brought back up and that goes through, whatever, but mainly the election system, right now I think they just got rid of the ID. There's a bill up to get rid of the ID. There's a bill up to don't check legal residence. There's a bill I know for a fact that's been put up to keep ICE at least 40 foot away from the entrances of voting polls in case Trump tries to put ICE agents to check IDs at voter polls in the state of Virginia. That's up. Why are they doing that? Because they were going to cheat. They're going to set the system up to cheat now they're in there. And the plan is Spanberger, let me drop another bomb if you guys probably don't know. She worked as a year or 2 years at the big Islamic madrasa in Arlington. Do you know what a madrasa is, by the way? A school where they teach. What do they teach? Let's go, class. Let me take another drink of my Trump Kool-Aid and give you a minute. It's basically a school where they indoctrinate the Muslim kids into their jihadist mentality. So, does anybody know what the Shahada is? Okay, I'll let you know. The Shahada is the Muslim conversion prayer, like a Christian myself, who I pray to Jesus to save my soul from going to hell because I'm not perfect, but I turn my life over to Christ and try to be better every day. Not perfect at it, but try. That's the conversion prayer for the Muslims, the Shahada. I wonder, did she take that prayer? But was linked to a terrorist there. That's another video for another day. Little tidbit. So my 2 seconds of putting on not this hat, but a tinfoil, and what I'm hearing from other places, Spanberger comes in as governor, stays her term, goes to be vice president. Hashmi, what's her name, comes up there and runs for governor, and pin that to when all three of these, Jay Jones, Hashmi, and Spanberger, running for office here in Virginia. They said when they got in, they would approve Sharia law in Virginia. Pin that. And there's mosque here, a few, but there's going to be a lot more, I believe, here soon. They said they are going to approve that. Well, why would they approve that? And you got the lieutenant governor sitting there waiting to be the governor, who's a Muslim. Put them in charge. Look at Keith Ellison, AG. I've been tracking him for a long time in Minnesota. He's been a problem. That problem's been there for years. We just are seeing it now come to fruition. And by the way, what's going on in Minneapolis is coming to Virginia. It's already here, but they took their foothold here. Now they're going to doing what they're going to do. And it's in all 50 states, guys. Red states ain't immune from what's going on in Minneapolis. It's there. It just metastasizes and gets bold once the Democrats get in positions in different places. That's another whole video for another day. Intelligence is another thing I'm good at, and I'm a body language person. I can really good at body language. I do that too. So there's a lot of things I do that you guys don't know. Now I'm a dumb hick with this thing. And my handle on here for going forward, from hence on, I'll give you that in a minute. What my handle will be here on YouTube. You guys know me, you can call me whatever, but on here I'm gonna be here in a minute. Just figured everybody has a cool name here. I figured I'd do one that people's called me before. So the plan is to get Hashmi in there. Virginia becomes a Muslim state. Let me say it again. Hashmi goes in. Spanberger, the queen, goes for vice president. And Virginia becomes a Muslim state. Everybody hear that? I hope you do. Because that's the plan. I'm telling you. I've got it. Let me reach over here to my side. Oh, here we go. I found it. I don't have a bigger version. This is getting the illegals in here, and the Marxist, communist, revolutionists, and the jihadists working together. And that's all the Antifa organizations, Indivisibles, and everything else. And this is the Muslim Brotherhood's Plan for America. The good old Bridget Gabriel and Act for America. I first heard about it. Center for Security Policy is where I got it at. You can print it off, go there. They have it in there. Both those forms are there. They're done by intelligence experts. And that's what's going on. And just moving forward, I'm going to wrap up and put out our YouTube, social media, and some other stuff here, and I'm going to wrap up. This is the Tactical Hillbilly from the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. Yeah, the Tactical Hillbilly. And dropping information and bombs of things that you don't know. Now, get us to 50 likes. Open up our tools here on YouTube. Open the tools up, and we will make Republicans who are rhinos are stabbing us in the back in Richmond famous. And we will be doing everything we can with as much time as we got, have an everyday life, we're not paid, and do everything we can to cover first the Second Amendment in Virginia, in the Shenandoah Valley, and protect it, and we will try to protect and defend liberty anywhere that needs defending within our area of the Shenandoah Valley. Now, with that being said, go to attorneysonretainer.com, I think it is, attorneysonretainerusa.com, one of the two. Go to them. Look up your options with them for lawyers to cover you. They have different plans, I think, too, but the 357 is the top plan. I got that one. Covers everything. It covers red flag. Go to sv2a.org. We have an email alert system there that we, ourselves, and some friends who do this, fund ourselves all on our own. We have the gun stores there, places to train in the Shenandoah Valley, all kinds of good stuff, a lot of stuff there. go to this YouTube page, share it out, take your trigger finger, hit like, subscribe, all right, and share. But mainly like and subscribe, get us to 50. Get us to 50, and by February we'll go full on in the studio, and we will work the next 4 years to fight for the Second Amendment here in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. And the fight's just begun. Everybody stay armed and disciplined. And I'll talk to you next time. And hopefully, you guys get us to 50, we'll be in studio. And we'll open up fully all of our tools and be able to fight for the Second Amendment. Sic semper tyrannis.